Not a single war yet in the entire history of humanity has been so baseless and so fabricated. Behind all battles, there was always something. Sometimes these were truly significant, weighty reasons, grievances. There, Bologna and Modena. Arvin Bohm, Bologna and Modena clashed in the 14th century in a brutal war over a bucket. Over a bucket, a wooden bucket that was stolen from the city well of Bologna, but at least there was a bucket. Greece and Bulgaria fought over a dog, and the war, a grand, by the way, bloody war between Britain and Spain in the 18th century, happened over an ear. An ear that a Spanish customs officer cut off from an Englishman after catching him smuggling. And this Spanish pedant, the ear, he sewed with coarse thread to a lengthy document on smuggling. I'm speaking seriously. And the one from whom it was cut off, Captain Jenkins, he took it all very seriously. He lay in wait and killed the Spaniard. He ransacked the customs office, killed a couple of clerks, but retrieved his ear. He preserved it in alcohol, and with this ear in a jar, he appeared before the English Parliament. England immediately declared war on Spain. There have been all sorts of wars over pigs, over flies landing in the wrong place, but none so baseless. How Putin's madness is structured, of course, history does not know. However, we understand that Putin has long since turned into a Thumbelina at someone else's ball. Moreover, a Thumbelina who might be trampled and go unnoticed. The ball is resounding. The American orchestra is playing, conducted with flair, and Trump is dancing energetically. And in general, it must be said, it's a difficult situation because everyone who had firmly decided on a harsh stance towards Trump is now hastily changing their shoes and altering their attitude towards him. It's not out of the question that they will have to do this more than once. To believe that now, right now, Trump has shown his true face would also be another mistake. However, it is possible that there is no true face of Trump, and this almighty troublemaker simply changes masks, of which he has countless. An extremely complex, unthinkable situation where Putin is in a zugzwang. In any case, Trump has indeed put him there. And this is not, if this is not a coincidence, then Trump is truly a great politician. And he has set up a trap for Putin. And Putin, of course, hesitated at the threshold of this trap, into which Trump kindly invited him. And the Kremlin ghoul was sniffing around, painfully trying to understand what will happen to him now when he enters and the door closes behind him. Putin doesn't have many options. Either his back will be broken, or he will be taken directly from the trap to curious young naturalists, and he will become someone's labrat. It's impossible to bypass the trap because it completely blocks the tunnel of any further political and military movement. For Putin's mind, it's clear that the task is unsolvable. By agreeing to the 30-day option, Putin turns against himself the entire mass of his admirers, all the orcs, the Ministry of Defense, the schizopatriots, and the Russian people who trusted him. But agreeing to 30 days in general, let's call things by their names. Agreeing to a truce means that Putin has submitted to Trump, bent over for debt, turned green again, but to use their language, which is capable of stripping all the meat off his backside. And sitting on Monomark's suitcase in the Kremlin will simply have no place. That is, it's unclear what will happen next, but at the moment, everything is slowly, very confidently moving towards the most dramatic option for Putin. And today the world in general looking at Putin, who he squirmed, twisted. Even yesterday in a supermarket security guard suit, he looked very unwell. And today he has completely faded and toppled face down. Today the time simply came for him to say something, and he began to say something. Meanwhile, that mustached furniture, Lukashenko was present, but even Lukashenko seemed to understand the drama of the moment. The Kremlin ghoul realized that it was not up to him nor his orcs to decide the fate of this war. And this, of course, is an unbearable grief for him. This is the first serious public humiliation of Putin. He acknowledged Trump's supremacy. He bowed down, and creaking and gritting, he entered this trap constructed by Trump. Well, at least even if he hasn't fully entered yet, he has squeezed halfway in, but he's clinging to the walls and squeaking as if I'm ready to die on the condition that I remain alive. In short, this is what Putin's logic looks like. And if Trump doesn't do something else right now, then of course Putin will have to endure the bitterest moments of parting, a final farewell to his bravado, arrogance, and transform. At the front entrance into a petitioner for not the most painful conditions, if the role of a petitioner, for example, is not at all shameful for Ukraine, which has never declared itself a great power, then for Putin, this role is fatal. And everything in general is moving towards a dramatic outcome for him. And today the world, looking at Putin's face, saw his buttocks and the scars swelling on them. One way or another, indeed, patriots are already drinking liters, those cyanide potassium, and the orcs in the trenches are raging and swearing, not understanding why they were dying. This is such a first public true humiliation, I must say. It is ruthless. It is quite likely that Trump did not want such a cruel scene and did not understand what he was doing with his blunder. Of course. And a beautiful ending to all this would have been a stroke. But Putin was unlucky here too. There was no stroke. Nevertheless, in general, we are witnessing that sharply, suddenly, but distinctly, it reeks of change. Or rather, well, not suddenly, this air, this smell has been present in the air for a couple of days. Well, and Trump, yes, he certainly did not have the goal to humiliate Putin like that, just as he did not have the goal of giving such a wild boost to Zelensky's ratings. At the moment, sorry, it's already around 80 for him. Of course, it will drop when the intensity of the moment passes, but let's say to some, well, if not the beginning of military, who at least quite successfully for Zelensky, figures